This is my Precalculus course. Today you're going to take the first half of the final test. In the previous class, we did a practice test together, and I gave you a practice test for homework. Don't take this test unless you finish those practice tests. They are the absolute minimum that you need to prepare for this test. If you take this test and fail it, then all the work that I put into writing the test will be for nothing. And this test is really the most important test in the course, so do not take this test unless you're prepared for it. You should have all your formulas memorized. You cannot use any internet, textbooks, or help from anybody. No notes, no nothing. You have to do this from memory. And I want to say that you probably noticed that the practice tests are pretty challenging. A lot of work on those practice tests. So I want to make it very clear, if you want to take a break, if you want to do maybe the first 12, 15 problems, or maybe even the first 20 problems, and then take a break, and then come back to the test, that's fine, because this test is kind of long. There's a lot of work involved. So that's completely fine to take a break. Is that clear? You can take a break, that's fine, but just don't look at any of your notes or any of that stuff. At the point where you're ready to take this test, you should have all of that stuff memorized. Again, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to finish the test. It only matters that you can do it without any help from anybody. Now, it really shouldn't take you more than about 2 hours. So you really want to shoot for about 2 hours. If you work for an hour and then you decide to take a break, that's fine, but you should probably time yourself to just see how long it takes you to take the test, because you don't want to be doing this for 8 hours. So clear off your desk. You should have nothing but a pencil and paper and or whatever digital device you're using to do this test. And of course you need your graphing calculator. Don't use the calculator for graphing. Only use it for counting problems and other things, not for graphing. So this test is worth 100 points. This is the first half of the final test. The second half will also be worth 100 points. So the final, the two-part final is worth a total of 200 points. So that said, let's take screenshots of the test. Here's screenshot number 1 and screenshot number 2 and number 3, number 4, and number 5, number 6, and number 7, 8, and 9. So go ahead and take the test. Again, you can take a break halfway through if you get tired. This is a very long test. There's only 25 problems, but it is a very long test, so that's totally fine to take a break halfway through if you want to. So go ahead and stop the video or pause the video, whatever you want to do, and take the test. And when you come back, we'll talk about how to score your test. I'll see you when you come back. Okay, we're back. So you should be finished with the test. Don't look at the answers unless you're completely finished with the test. If you look at the answers before you're done, then that pretty much makes the test worthless. Okay, so you should be done with the test, and here's the answers. Those are the answers from 1 through 19, and here's the answers from problems 20 through 25. And now that you have the answers, we can talk about how to score your test. So the scoring is really the same as it has always been. There's not really much to talk about. Now in this problem here, I didn't really specify that you needed to write this information here. So you don't need to write this information, but you were required to write the asymptotes. On this problem, however, it says to find all of this information, so you have to write all of this information. So let's see, what can we say about this? You can use your own discretion. This is not a two-part problem here, but you can consider it to be a two-part problem and assign points accordingly. We have a four-part problem here. Each part is worth 1 point, and I think you have an idea of how to score your test at this part of the course. You've done this many times. Here we have a two-part problem. Each part is worth 2 points. And if a problem has multiple parts, but you don't have the parts numbered, then you have to use your own discretion on how to score that. So go ahead and score your test, and when you come back, we'll talk about how to grade the test. So pause the video. When you come back, I'll see you then. Okay, we're back. So the grading works as it always does. This is the system that we use in the United States. If you scored 90 to 100, that means you did really well. If you scored 80 to 89, that means that you did very well. If you scored 70 to 79, that means you did well, but there's a few things that you could work on. And if you scored below 70, then that means that you really didn't score high enough to say that you know this material. So hopefully if you scored in the red, that means that you, or hopefully you did well on other tests, and that will bring your grade up. So that was part 1 of the final test, and in the next class we're going to prepare for part 2 of the final test. So if you scored in the green, I'm proud of you. Very good. Again, if you scored in the red, that just teaches you that this is a difficult course. Now, you should know that by now. This is a very challenging course. So there's nothing that anybody can do to make this course easy. There is no easy math course. I can try to make it as easy as possible without lowering the standards, but there is no easy math course. So that said, I'll see you in the next class.